What's the secret to having a great quarterly? Well, there's a couple things. Number one, during the day, we're going to be open and honest the same way we always are, really listening to each other's perspectives and being honest, sharing things, putting things on the table that we need to talk about. But a truly great quarterly starts before the session. It starts in your preparation. And I want to share with you a framework that you can go through to help you prepare, that'll help you have the very best quarterlies that you can. First of all, you have to spend some time, 2 to 3 hours. It means not sitting down at your desk at the end of the day before your quarterly, finishing off those last emails, closing your computer, and then giving some thought to what are we going to do the next day. If you do that, you will not get out of the day what you need. It's taking the time in the days before. Sometimes it might be 2 to 3 hours at a chunk. Sometimes I break it out into 2. So I do an hour and a half or an hour and a half, because I want to get that perspective of fresh eyes when I come back to something and I maybe think about things a bit differently. It's 4 times per year I'm asking you to spend this time. 4 times per year. It's not a lot to ask for the value you're going to get in the improved quality of your quarterlies. And I promise you that if you do this work, the quality of your quarterlies, no matter where they are right now, even if they're really good, will be better. Okay? First, we do a review. We look back on the past quarter and see how we did. Your numbers. So if you're in the finance seat, you need to be willing to come to this session with the numbers. What worked? What didn't? Are the numbers higher, lower? Why are the numbers where they are? So that we can have a robust discussion around that. Looking at your rocks. Were your rocks done or not done? If they weren't done, are you going to be ready to talk about what it is that held you back from completing all your rocks? Look at your teammates' rocks. Were they done in the way that you expected that they would be done? Again, if you're not, you need to become ready to challenge them, to push them to become better if you don't think they did the best work they could possibly do. The next thing is a scorecard. So you really need to do a deep dive on your scorecard. Every week, you're going through the scorecard in your L10. That's almost like the weekly cleaning of your house. This is like spring cleaning. It means really getting into every nook and cranny of not only your leadership team scorecard, but departmental scorecards. What's working? What's not? What are the patterns? What are the trends? Who's doing well? Whose numbers are off track? So that you're really able to come and have a discussion, a more robust discussion about what's working and potentially what's not working with your scorecard. You then need to do a deep dive on the VTO, really going through it top to bottom. Is everyone the right person in the right seat relating to core values? If there are people that aren't, you've got to make a note. You've got to get them on the issues list so they're there for us to fix tomorrow. When you look through the VTO, are all of your processes and your systems driving you towards your core focus? If you look at your 10-year target, your 3-year picture and 1-year plan, are they aligned? Are people passionate about them? Are people excited about them? If they're not, we've got to do something about it. We've got to bring that passion back. If I were to go into your company tomorrow and ask someone, what are your 3 uniques? Would they be able to tell me? Because remember, people need to hear something 7 times before they hear it the first time. So if people are not aligned, they don't know this stuff, we need to figure out how we're going to make it so that everyone knows, has bought in and wants to be part of this vision going forward. Looking at your 3-year plan picture, does it paint a crystal clear picture of this organization 3 years from now? Can you see it? Can you feel it? Do you want it? Looking at the 1-year plan, where are you on your goals? If you're in Q1, are you a quarter of the way towards finishing your goals? Q2, are you halfway there? Q3, almost there. And Q4, are you wrapping them up? You need to be willing to be open and honest with each other. Challenge each other. If you feel like you're not on track to hit those goals, be the one who pushes your team to have the difficult discussion to say, we're not changing these goals. What do we need to do to be able to achieve them? Okay. Lastly, your accountability chart. You need to look at your accountability chart every single quarter. Remember, this is designed to give you the structure, the seats, the roles in each seat, to help you get what you want for the next 6 to 12 months, to help you succeed over the next 6 to 12 months. Are people running at capacity? Is there maybe a need to rescope some of the seats? Maybe add a seat or 2. If it's not doing what you need to do the thinking now so that tomorrow we can talk about it, we can start to make the changes that we need to make. And lastly, you need to look back at your calendar over the last 90 days. If you're like me, you can't remember anything that happened before last week. And how are you going to really share the energy of what happened during the week if you don't look back, or during the quarter, if you don't look back and say, what am I proud of what happened? Who am I proud of what happened? When you share your best from the last quarter, are you going to bring something substantive, something meaningful? Please don't make something up in the heat of the moment, which many people do. Have the information and the energy that you've gone back so you can really share something meaningful, okay? So that's your calendar. Now let's go into preview. Now you're going to go to preview mode. So what's coming up? What are you thinking about when you think about the next quarter? What are some potential rocks? So looking at your 1-year picture, what are some things, those goals you need to move the needle on, and what are some rocks that you can think of that are going to move the needles? What are the priorities? So almost like a rough draft of company rocks, of your individual rocks. We're going to hammer it out in the session. We're going to fight for what we think is important. But if you come in prepared with what you think are the priorities, rather than pulling stuff out of your head in the moment when I say, okay, what do you think the rocks are going to be, company rocks this quarter? You're going to do better work. We're going to do better work. You're going to get better rocks. They're going to move you along faster and more efficiently, okay? Look at your calendar, because when you're setting rocks, you need to have a sense of what your bandwidth is for the next quarter. So if you're looking at the 90 days that has a holiday, you've got a couple of key staff members that are on holiday, you're at a conference for a week, you now know that you're not going to be able to take on perhaps quite as much as you thought you would, okay? And if you can't, but those things are truly priorities, let's get some help from the team. What are the resources that the rest of this team could bring to bear to help accomplish those most important things? And if after doing all of that, there's one thing that's still sitting in your head that you're kind of nervous to put on the issues list, that elephant that everyone's a little bit scared to talk about, be brave. Put it on the list, put it on the table. Let's talk about it. We can't figure it out unless we talk about it. So please do all of us a favor and be the brave one to talk about it, to help us talk about it. This quarterly session is the most expensive day of your quarter for this organization. Time, resources, money, energy, all of those things, it's the most expensive time. Prepare so that we can do the very best work that we can, so you can get the most out of it, to help you move your EOS implementation forward, to move your company forward, and ultimately help all of you and all of your employees get more of what you want from this business.